Hi Pisces, welcome to your June 2015 tarot report, and I just want to give a little disclaimer here. Last night when I was drawing your cards, I was listening to Stairway to Heaven and I thought, okay, what sign would really appreciate this song? Okay, I'll choose Pisces, but you know, on second thought, I think I should have just had quiet and tuned in spiritually to it instead of having this external thing going on. So I thought about redoing the choosing of the cards, but then I said to myself, there might be some message that's important to give to Pisces. So I'm going to just proceed as usual. I suggest that you take this reading as just another piece of information and not necessarily take it too seriously, but I recommend that anyway. I think that we should always honor our intuition first and foremost. So I created my own spread, and the first card I draw is related to what is happening at the end of the prior month, this case being May. So for that last week of May and the energy going into the month of June, I picked the Nine of Cups, which is a very positive card, and it means your dreams coming true. And then I picked a card for the first 2 weeks of June, and the card I picked for that was the Ace of Pentacles. I picked a card for the last 2 weeks of June, and that was the Eight of Pentacles reversed. And by the way, I got these two cards for another sign. Now I did shuffle the cards quite thoroughly. It's possible that those two cards stay together, and that was another reason why I thought about redoing this reading. But out of all the cards that I chose, I still think that there must be some reason. I think I got these two cards for Taurus, but it was in different positions. And then the overall card I got to describe the month of June was the Three of Swords. I decided to count the rest of the cards to make sure that all my cards were intact in that deck, and I came up one short, and I was like, oh no, this reading isn't going to be legitimate. And I found a fifth card on this lap desk that I used to put down the cards, and it was kind of peeking out. So I'm including that card in the reading to describe the energy of the month, and it is the Four of Cups reversed. And in my book, Tarot Plain and Simple, by Anthony Lewis, they describe the Four of Cups reversed as the end of discontent. So this is kind of countering the harshness or the so-called negativity of the Three of Swords. And the number 3 is actually a number of abundance. I think the reason it has a negative connotation is because swords tend to represent conflict. So if you have an abundance of conflict, that's what's going on. But, you know, abundance of quarrels, abundance of conflict, you know, maybe a problem with your lover, some kind of a breakup, or you know, mourning the loss of someone. But Pisces, just to keep it real, it's kind of par for the course, isn't it? I mean, you guys really feel the weight of the world sometimes, and that's because you're the last sign. You're empathetic, you're an empath, you're empathetic, psychic, that sort of thing. And so you don't just like waltz through life oblivious. You're the one that not only can feel other people's pain, but you can put yourself in other people's shoes. And this is what makes you such wonderful healers and artists. So this Three of Swords isn't something that I think will be an energy that is unfamiliar to you. I think this is kind of par for the course. But let me explain a little bit what I see for the next month. In the first place, you have an amazingly positive energy that's coming into the month of June. So something must have happened that makes you feel so abundant and joyous, on top of the world, you know, feeling that you got what you wanted, that sort of thing. And for the first half of the month, you have the Two of Pentacles, which is dealing with duality. Any twos are. And then you have Pentacles, which deals with material resources, be it money or property or things of that nature. So it's like a juggling act for some reason. Whether it's that you have two jobs and you're trying to keep it all together, or you have property, maybe multiple properties, and you have to go back and forth and make sure everything's okay with both of the properties. Just that sort of thing. But it's not a negative energy. It's not like, oh my God, I can't do this. This is too much for me. It's kind of almost a challenge that you are assuming and, you know, happily engaging in. It's like a game to you, whatever this thing is. And so it may be related to the Nine of Cups, that somehow you got what you wanted, but it's made you very busy having to juggle a bunch of balls in the air. Maybe you started a business and it's taking off like gangbusters. The only problem is, you know, you might have to work long hours, or you might have to go to two different locations to do different things. Maybe you have to go to the business and then, you know, run home and make dinner for the family or something like that. So I get the feeling of a lot of busyness and energy surrounding money. And, you know, Pentacles relates to material resources, so you have that going on. And the second half of the month, I got the Eight of Pentacles reversed, and that deals with having to work for what you want, but feeling like it's kind of not materializing. And it can also relate to working at something that is not really a labor of love, something that you are doing but your heart isn't really into it, and you might be cutting corners. So maybe this is more of a warning that because you have such a busy schedule in the first half of the month, don't resist the temptation to do that, to be that person that kind of is shoddy because you want to, because you feel like I have too much on my plate. You know, just realize that if this is something that is a new endeavor, it's just to get it off the ground. You know, after a while you'll be able to, the dust will settle and you'll be able to do what you want to do. But, you know, never sacrifice quality in favor of trying to just get out product. That might be kind of a warning that you'll be tempted to do that. It's not that you'll necessarily do it, but it might cross your mind to do it. And then we have those two cards that kind of sum up the month, and we have that Three of Swords, and it just seems like such an ominous card. But what I think that it might mean is that maybe your wishes are coming true, and this happens in life a lot. I think if you're old enough to have gone through some stuff, is like you can have something really good happen and then you have other headaches, you know, sometimes as a result of the good thing that's happening, like haters, right? You know, somebody lands a great job, or they, you know, they win the lottery, or something really amazing happens to them, and then they've got family problems because they have people who are jealous, who are envious, who are trying to cut them down and trying to make it like they didn't deserve it, and they are, you know, you must think you're such hot stuff and all this. So that's what it could be. It could be that you have these haters, but I think there's going to be a disappointment that you have in someone, or maybe some people. And it doesn't have to be like the end of the world type of heartache. It could be that you didn't expect that kind of reaction from somebody. Sometimes when there's a Three of Swords, it said that it could be a cheating situation, but they say that the Lover's card is drawn too, so I didn't draw that for you. But, you know, in any case, I just think that it's possible to have something really, really good happen to you, and then you have to deal with some other kind of loss. Hopefully, I certainly don't want to put that out in the universe and have you expecting a loss, but maybe if there's something that you can think of related to this Nine of Cups, this wonderful news, that could cause the opposite reaction to occur, that there could be negative consequences for your good fortune from other people, then, you know, forewarned is forearmed, so to speak. So it might be one of those deals. I don't know. But you did get Four of Cups reversed, which means that in a lot of cases, the discontent that you may be feeling will end. And so maybe it's a question of you'll have that feeling, but then you'll get over it. And it ends on a positive note. And it's so interesting that that card kind of was lodged in there, and I wasn't aware that I picked it without picking it. So the universe wants you to know that, you know, things will get better if you've been feeling some sort of grief or disappointment in another person or other people. And you know, sometimes people feel self-pity, and Pisces, you know, I think that you have a tendency towards that when you're not living totally in the light. You have a tendency towards that kind of emotion, but, you know, you can get to that part where you start feeling more energized, and you know, start getting ready to attract more good into your life. And, you know, maybe the month, even though it has a couple of bumps, will end on quite the high note. I'm very interested in this Nine of Cups, though. And what I find fascinating about the Nine of Cups, and that's the energy at the end of May going into June, is that it's supposed to be this, you know, card of wishes being fulfilled and abundance, you know, material abundance and joy and all that sort of thing. But it's a Cups card, and Cups are connected to the water signs in astrology. So I would think it would relate more to, you know, having happiness or feeling really connected with loved ones, not necessarily anything related to material abundance. So that was nice to see that for you. And I think I'll leave it there.